Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Machin Leira Online Smicha. I saw today a phenomenal vart from the Chassam Sofer, and I figured that maybe because of that, that'll give me also a boost to share with the thought that came to my mind, even though you have to have backing to say your eigen verta, but I think it's a deher, and I would like to share it with everybody. The Chassam Sofer says, Chazal say the makim ha'arain eina min amida. Literally translated, it means the place where the arain was in the Kodesh HaKadoshim didn't take up space. It didn't take up space of the empty spot in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Nimna ha'nimnois, and there's a lot of beautiful lessons from that. But the Chassam Sofer says, a beautiful deher. He says, makim ha'arain. The place of the Arain, the place of the Torah, can't be in Amida, is not boxed into certain limits, certain limitations. Everybody in there, whoever you are, wherever you are, Torah is for you. So it's not limited just for certain places, certain people. Torah, everybody has a part in the Torah, and as the Rebbe would always quote, "V'sein chelkeinu b'seirasecha." Everybody says, give me my part, our part in the Torah. All right, beautiful. So, we keep on hearing, and now we're in the month of Addar, we keep on hearing the Mishanichnas Addar Marbim B'Simcha. In a lot of places they have signs reminding us to be happy because it's the month of Addar. It's actually a Gemara in Masechta Tainus. And it's a special mazel for Yidden. The Shulchan Aruch says if anybody has a court case, you do it during the month of Addar. What's the mazel of the Chodesh Addar? Mazel dagim. It actually, fish. It actually says that the second month of Addar is even greater luck for the Jews because every month has a mazel. The second month of Addar, it doesn't even say which mazel it is. So that's the level how Yidden are standing even higher than mazalas. What is the connection to, what is the uniqueness or what's the specialty of dagim? And that's why it's a special mazel, it's a lucky mazel. So we know that by tashlich it says that you go to tashlich, to the place where there's fish, because fish always have open eyes. It's symbolic of Hashem always watching you, and the fish multiply a lot. There's a lot of famous things said about the fish. Fish always fight against the stream. You have the power, every person has the power to go against the stream, against what he sees. But today I want to tell you 3 halachas about fish that I think it is a tremendous lesson in Avodas Hashem. Halacha number 1. There is a famous rule, and this is brought in Hilchos Taruvis, Siman Kuf Hey Sif Aleph, that kavush k'mavushal. Obviously, when you cook non-kosher with kosher, the non-kosher taste spreads, and it's a problem. How about if you didn't cook the non-kosher with the kosher? They just sat marinating together. So whether it was marinating in the brine or marinating in water even, if it was marinating for a decent period of time, it's as if it's cooked. And it creates a problem because the non-kosher spread its taste into the kosher food. So there's a klutz kasha task. The klutz kasha is all the fish in the water are all swimming together. They're all, quote unquote, marinating together in the same ocean, in the same lakes. So if you have kosher and non-kosher fish together, why are we allowed to eat kosher fish? Why are they not considered? Why isn't there an issue of kavush? This is not my shaila, it's shaila brought in Svarim. And the answer which is given, kavush is only an issue with a dead item, an item that's lacking life. So when we're talking about food items that don't have any life to it, each one is ready to be open to accept outer taste, and that's a problem if you're marinating together with non-kosher. But when you're alive, when the fish are alive, even though you're in the vicinity and you're marinating together with other fish, you won't allow it to be, you don't allow yourself to be hurt or damaged or taking in anything from the outside. You obviously see where we're going with this, that every Yid has to be alive. And when you're chayim kulchem hayoim, let there be whatever there is around you. And you may be marinating together, but you have the powers to stay away, stay aloof from it, and not be affected. And this leads to the second halacha. There is a halacha that says, Hayoytze min atame tame, Hayoytze min atar tar, which means to say, anything that comes out of a non-kosher species, a non-kosher item, whatever comes out of it is also non-kosher. If it comes out, whatever comes out of a kosher animal, a kosher species, then it's kosher. So, for example, there's a whole dilemma. Why are you allowed to have honey? Honey comes from bees, and bees are non-kosher. And the answer is, the honey is not part of the bee. The honey is, when the bee eats or does whatever it does with the pollen, what's outside of it, it's an external thing, so it just goes through the bee, and the bee makes the honey, whatever it is, but it's not part of not part of the bee. But if it would be something that the bee himself releases, it would be takatame. So what does Shulchan Aruch say? That if you catch a fish, let's say you catch a big fish, and in that fish there is another baby fish or something that the fish swallowed. Now here's the halacha. If you catch a big non-kosher fish, non-kosher, or a guy catches a non-kosher fish, and he cuts it open and he finds a little whitefish or a little salmon that was kosher, originally kosher, the salmon stays kosher, because even though it made it into the stomach of a non-kosher fish, it does not have a din of a yoytze min atame. That just stresses my point even more. Not only when you're marinating with tmeim, you have the power to stay away. Even if you made it into the stomach of a tamei, if you manage somehow to overcome it, and you are a yoytze min atame, as long as you intrinsically, as long as you yourself is somebody who's tar, you have the power to stay that way, even during the process that you went through min atame. You open the fish, you open this non-kosher fish, and you find a salmon, you find a small whitefish, whatever it is, you're going to stay kosher even though the fact came out. And the third halacha is, okay, so how big is the struggle? How big is the struggle to identify a kosher fish from a non-kosher fish? And we know that the difference between the fish is that a non-kosher fish doesn't have fins and scales, and a kosher fish has fins and scales. And the Gemara actually says a kosher fish doesn't even have to have fins and scales. If you see scales, it's for sure kosher, because there is no fish that has scales that doesn't have fins. And the Gemara says, "Lahagdol Torah la'adira." Fine. So what happens if it comes to a situation where the fish is filleted, you don't see the skin? So you would think, as long as you're not 1,000,000% sure, with the rock solid proof that this is a kosher fish, then you're not allowed to eat it. Shulchan Aruch says that might be too overwhelming for a person. It is enough to see one scale. If you see one scale stuck to the fish, it's a kosher fish. You don't have to overwork and be the perfect person to be considered kosher. One scale, one little mitzvah ma'asim tovim makes you considered a kosher fish.